Before you rush into another busy week, pause. Take a deep breath. When was the last time you truly sat in silence and listened? Some of the most profound guidance from God doesn't come in the chaos, it comes in the quiet. Stillness isn't about doing nothing, it's about tuning in and becoming spiritually aware. Because when we stop striving, we start hearing. And in those quiet pauses, miracles begin. Today, let us learn how to find peace in stillness and recognize the divine whispers that guide our daily lives. Our world is loud, phones buzz, calendars overflow, and our minds race even when our bodies stop. But spiritual stillness is a sacred rebellion, a way of saying, I choose to listen. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." This verse isn't just an invitation to rest. It is a reminder that awareness of God begins when the noise fades. Stillness isn't the absence of movement. It's the presence of attention. It's the practice of becoming fully awake to the moment you're in, because that's where God is speaking. God rarely shouts. He often speaks through nudges, coincidences, and moments that seem ordinary until you notice their timing. Here are 3 ways those whispers might show up. First, the urge to call a friend. You're busy at your desk when suddenly someone's name crosses your mind. You pause, make the call, and discover they were going through something heavy that very day. That's not a coincidence. That's compassion in motion. Second, a song at the right time. Stuck in traffic, frustrated, tired, you turn on the radio, and the lyrics speak directly to what you're feeling. That's not just music. It's a reminder that you're not alone. And third, the timely message. Maybe it's a quote online, a verse, or a stranger's words that answer a question you've been wrestling with. You scroll past it, then stop. Because deep down, you know it was meant for you. When we begin to pay attention, the divine becomes visible in the ordinary. So how can you tell if it's truly God speaking or just your own mind looking for meaning? Here are 4 simple ways to discern divine whispers. First, clarity over urgency. God's guidance brings peace, not panic. If it feels calm yet persistent, it's often His leading. Second, alignment with love. If the nudge points you toward kindness, forgiveness, or compassion, it's worth trusting. Third, confirmation over time. Truth repeats itself. You may notice similar signs, a phrase, an opportunity, a word of encouragement that keeps resurfacing. And fourth, an openness to letting go. Wishful thinking clings to outcomes. Divine whispers invite surrender, a willingness to trust, even if the answer isn't what you expected. Discernment grows through practice. The more time you spend in quiet communion, the more easily you'll recognize His tone. Stillness doesn't require hours. It begins with moments. Here are some simple habits you can start today. First, mindful breathing. Before answering a message or starting a task, take 3 slow breaths. Ask yourself, what do I feel right now? Second, active listening. When someone speaks, listen fully, not just to respond but to understand. Sometimes God's wisdom hides in their words. Third, sacred pauses. Turn daily routines, like waiting for your coffee, sitting at a red light, or stepping outside for air, into tiny invitations for awareness. And finally, create mini sanctuaries. It could be a cozy corner, a walk by the water, or simply closing your eyes for 1 quiet minute. Let these spaces remind you, God meets you in the ordinary. Stillness isn't about location, it's about attention. Let me share a few testimonies that remind us how powerful simple stillness can be. Michael from Ohio said, "One morning I felt prompted to text an old coworker I hadn't spoken to in months. She replied instantly. My message was exactly what she needed that day. It felt like I was part of something greater, just by pausing and acting on that nudge. Jasmine from Texas shared, "I started using my dog walks as quiet time. No phone, just prayer. Over time, I found more clarity and peace. Answers I'd been searching for began surfacing naturally." And Eli from California told me, "I thought spiritual growth required retreats or sermons, but it was in the simple nightly habit of pausing before bed that I started hearing God more clearly." Stillness doesn't need a stage. It needs a willing heart. You don't need a mountaintop or miracle to hear God speak. You just need a moment, a breath, a pause, a whisper. Start small. Notice more. Trust that even in the quietest pauses, you might be hearing exactly what you need for the journey ahead. Thank you for joining me today. If this message brought peace to your heart, hit like, leave a comment about a divine whisper you've experienced, and subscribe to Strive for Excellence for weekly reflections on faith, focus, and living with purpose. Your greatness is already within you. Let's grow it together.